Welcome back to another episode of Friday Night at the Barbell. Today we have another installment of our new series, The Future of Strength Sports, featuring Dalton Brooks. He's a strength coach and athlete out of Birmingham, Alabama. His coaching service is Spartan Strength Systems. Enjoy the episode. All right, we're here with Dalton Brooks, one of our athletes in Alabama. He's, I would say, an up-and-comer. It's not like you're not new to it, but still you've made this huge jump of where you were to where you are now, and that to me makes you an up-and-comer in like the elite category. So Dalton, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, man, I've been competing for about 4 years now. Used to be a collegiate athlete. I own my own coaching systems now, Spartan Strength Systems. I'm sure if you're familiar with anything in Alabama powerlifting, you've probably seen me advertise or seen my horde of people, like 13 of them at a meet before. We like to go in groups. So, but yeah, I'm a coach over at Castile Academy, owned by Simeon Castile. We do a lot of hybrid, high-intensity training over there for general fitness and athletes of all sorts.
Yeah, you kind of transitioned from like a commercial gym to a like actual athletics training facility recently,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, this is much more of what I want to do. Obviously what I was doing before paid the bills, but I wanted to get to that point where I can coach more athletes. I obviously don't have a degree in kinesiology, able to get my CSCS to coach like high level, but this is as close as I could get without being at like a high school or something, which I didn't really want to be tied down to like a high school and all their rules and stuff.
Cannot blame you there. I think it would be kind of miserable these days to be in school teaching and coaching.
For sure.
I know a lot of people that do it, and they don't have a good time most of the time.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. Like your background, I know you're an athlete. I don't know if everyone knows you were, but you played collegiate sports. And then how did that transition work to finding powerlifting?
Yeah, so obviously I went to Briarwood High School, graduated from there in 2019, and I went on to play defensive line at Bethel University. I just got up there. It's up in Tennessee. It's in McKenzie, Tennessee. It's almost Kentucky. It's like an hour from Jackson, if anybody's familiar with that part of Tennessee. But, just to describe it, it's the middle of nowhere. The whole campus was surrounded by cotton fields, literally. And it was an hour from anything like remotely interesting to do. So, but that was kind of the issue. I'm from obviously Birmingham. There's loads of stuff to do, or at least places to be. But it was also just the coaches and stuff. I didn't really get along with them, and they weren't really coaching. They were more being friends. And another thing was I am not used to losing. Briarwood we were pretty good in my 4 years. We only lost like 4 or 5 games in my 4 years I was there. Went to the state championship. And then I go there, and I think we won 3 games. And like all my teammates would get in fights after the games and stuff like that. And it was basically like what I like to describe to people is like a last chance of you kind of scenario. We had a lot of really good athletes that either couldn't do schoolwork or just didn't want to, would rather, do a bunch of extracurricular stuff that wasn't going to help them in that. And so I just knew that it was starting to make me lose my love for football, and I didn't want to do that. So I stepped back from that after my freshman season. I tried to go to Birmingham Southern, and that didn't really work out. That's way too expensive.
Yep.
As you can see now, them closing down. But I met a buddy while I was up in Tennessee. His name's Jev, and he's still one of my really good friends to this day. And he kind of introduced me to powerlifting, bodybuilding, all the the niche stuff when it comes to working out. And he leans more towards the bodybuilding, but I obviously got super into the powerlifting. Didn't really understand what powerlifting was at first. I knew that it was like, okay, I'm maxing out on squat, bench, and deadlift. I'm like, I like those 3, so that sounds like a pretty good start. So let's start there. Then I moved back, started going to gym time in Alabaster, and I got connected with a man named Danny Summers. I don't know if you know who that is, but Danny's a really cool guy, and he was coached by Les at the time. Obviously, if anybody watching this probably knows who Les is, and that connected me with Les, and that really started me on my journey for powerlifting. That was back in early 2020.
Okay. Interesting. Yet that would be a fun way to get introduced to it, like via Danny through Les. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, in 2020, that's when you still had like all the big Alabama names lifting.
Hmm.
That was like right before everybody stopped. So,
Yeah, like Tank and Perseus. Yeah,
yeah.
they were like Tank was still more in it. Perseus was kind of on his way out. I think he was still trying to, hit that 600-pound bench at that time.
Hmm.
But a full power was kind of in the back of his head for a
Yeah,
while.
that's
But
when he
yeah,
tore his quad.
it was still a good time to get into the sport though, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you had, yeah, all the other guys. Did you train at Diamond K with them ever?
I did a decent bit. I ended up moving, so that was around February-ish. I think I went there. I ended up moving to Auburn with my now wife, trying to help her
Hmm.
get into school in August, I believe. And so that kind of put a halt on that.
Yeah.
But I trained there a good bit, so it got me introduced to all the people that I'm still friends with now in powerlifting, and helping me make early connections for sure.
Was there a moment when you started when you thought, oh, I could do this? I can be one of those guys. Because for people
I,
that don't know, those people, like we're kind of mentioning, like Jacob Kilgore, Jonathan Oldham, Perseus Black, Tank, they all had like a 2,000 total in different
yeah,
weight
for
classes.
sure.
So
Yeah, for sure.
all trained with the same
Um,
people in the same building.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't say that it was like an epiphany. Like after my first competition, I definitely knew that I was hooked for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I knew that I obviously wasn't. I didn't have like a big head about it. I didn't think I was like all that. I think I had like a 1399 total my first one, which I mean, first competition at 19, I would say wasn't too bad. Um, but no, I mean, I don't think there was. I think that after this past competition, I really feel like that I'm at my like cusp of starting to hit that elite level where I can possibly win some money and actually get the money back from all the $200 that I'm spending every meet,
Yeah.
federation membership and all that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
yes, I would say that this past competition was probably where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make money. I can make money from this. But from the very beginning, I just knew that I loved competition, and I knew I loved pushing myself, and this sport allows me to do both. So
Yeah, similar to like CrossFit, like how people find CrossFit, powerlifting is like a way for former athletes to still feel competitive in something. I think it
absolutely,
kind of helps you get it out of your system in a
yeah,
healthy way.
yeah, for sure.
A lot of people do extracurriculars instead.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, you find a competition to jump into, whether you're good at it or not. It's a good outlet.
yeah. It's funny. I still have people ask me. They were like, "Well, how did you get signed up for your first competition?" I'm like, honestly, I have no clue how I figured it out on my own. Because some people they'll text me. A lot of my clients text me and they'll be like, "Well, how do I do this and this and this?" And I'm like, how do you like? It was like I feel like it was just a blur for me. Like somehow I magically
Yeah.
got signed up for this competition and I knew where it was. Like I don't even remember signing up for it or how I found the federation. I think at the time it was everybody was still doing USPA.
Yep.
But yeah, I still don't really know how I found that competition. Was like, okay, yeah, this is the one I'm definitely gonna do.
That's funny.
But it just worked out.
That's funny. I think I got lucky, I guess, because I was in Tuscaloosa where Charlie was, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever met Jeff Ray, but
Name sounds familiar. Yeah.
he's like old school. He's like 57, but he's been competing, not training, but competing for longer than you or I have been alive. Like his open powerlifting track record is like 3 pages long. The first one listed as a world championship in 1992.
Oh my
So he
gosh.
doesn't even have his other ones listed, but he always finds a way to talk people into doing a competition in Tuscaloosa.
Oh yeah.
So like everyone he finds, he can like somehow convince them to sign up. So that's kind of how me and everyone else in Tuscaloosa ever got signed up.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. Steve. So tell us, or didn't mention it, how old are you and what your best total is so far?
Yeah, for sure. So 23 right now. I turned 24 literally like a month from now, September 13th. So I don't do the junior anymore. I stopped doing junior like after my first competition. I just do open, but so
Yeah.
that doesn't really matter. But best total's 1835 in competition. I haven't hit over that during my last prep. I didn't hit any of my top numbers besides bench, so my training total is actually less technically than my competition total right now. So
As it should be.
yeah,
What class? What weight class?
275. Try not to max it out too quick.
Yeah, you'll be in 308 in no time.
Yeah.
And so, from your first competition to the most recent one, so 1399 to 1835.
35. Yeah.
What's changed over that period? Is there anything like significant that changed, or has it just been like trusting the process, doing what you're doing?
I definitely say that I have been, I'm not coached by Les anymore, but was coached by Les literally after my after my first competition. I did like a mock meet, and I did terrible, so I picked him up, and so from then on, I think I never complained. I never asked him to do anything else. I just did exactly what he told me, and for those 4 years, I was just grinding, tweaking my form. But I do think that, obviously, when I first competed, I think I weighed in at like 235. And then this last competition, I weighed in at 265. So that's obviously going to play a big factor. Then me being 19 to 24 now, a lot more mature muscle, stuff like that. So I would say that all those definitely have impacted it. But yeah, I would say that I definitely have been one of those guys that, like, I'm not looking to just like hit these big lifts each week just to post on Instagram and get likes. Like, I would rather have a good competition total than hit a max PR in the gym. Like, I didn't really care about all that.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see people that have like a training total, if that's even a thing. I don't really know if I believe in that, but to have a training total higher than their platform total.
Yeah.
Then I'm
like, if you're really peaking right, then you should be hitting higher. Like, you shouldn't really be like grinding out like aneurysm rep during prep.
Yeah, I always enjoy explaining RPE to people, like my clients, because a lot of people think RPE is like, 1 rep lift in the tank is an RPE 9. But in reality, it's more like 1 rep left in the tank if you can keep that same form. So it's like a technical failure, not like a bone grinder. Oh, if you put a gun to my forehead, I could definitely do 1 more rep. Said anyone with any weight on the bar, like, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
If someone's going to shoot you in the head, you can probably get another rep, but it's not worth it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's definitely something I have learned, obviously, going from, just lifting with my buddies at the YMCA and then getting into powerlifting. And, I'm not supposed to, like, I was just actually talking to somebody about this today. Like, I remember when I was in high school, I went and, like, maxed on deadlift, and I tried to, like, hitch it up my legs like an idiot. Mm-hmm. And I started like shaking and all this. I had no clue how to brace. I ended up actually partially tearing an ab.
Nice.
I didn't know it in that moment. So I went and max bench pressed like 10 minutes later, which probably definitely didn't help. It was one of the most excruciating things ever. But yeah, so definitely I understand that, like, my body is not just this thing that can just continue to go 100% of the time.
Right.
So, like, especially with my own training now, I'm trying to be like a lot more conservative until, like, the final week of whatever. I don't just do 4-week blocks. I'm kind of anti. People are like, only 4-week blocks. I'm like, well, no. But like, whenever my block ends, that's when I'll really push myself. But until then, we're gonna keep it below an 8, and I'm gonna walk out of there with my bones still intact to my body.
Right. Yeah. No bones shooting out of your asshole or anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways. That's just like a longevity thing. Like, when you look at the big picture, I think a lot of people look at powerlifting through a lens of like they miss the forest for the trees almost every time.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, well, this guy did this. Well, that means I have to do a different, bigger number. And it's like, in reality, none of that shit actually matters.
Exactly.
This is an individual sport.
Yeah. That's what I loved about it too, is that, I I don't like saying that like I'm like fighting demons or nothing, but I always felt like I got a little overlooked in high school for football. I always felt like I was a little bit better than I was perceived to be, you know, recruiting wise and stuff. I felt like I could have played at a higher level than I did, which, you know, I can say whatever I want. The fact is I didn't. But
Right.
Powerlifting, but football is a lot more of a team sport, right? If your team
Oh, yeah.
doesn't do good or you don't have good pieces around you, you're not going to get as much attention and stuff like that. But with powerlifting, like it's entirely on me. Even if you have a coach, like you can't blame anybody but yourself. Like at the end of the day, you can sit here and tell you that your coach gave you like a crappy program or prep or whatever, but like you as an individual should know, like, okay, is this working? Like, am I actually peaking or am I actually getting stronger? And if you never said anything, then that's still on you.
Yeah.
So it's all on you. That's what I love about it. It's like if I mess up, it's on me. If I do great, it's on me, and I can take the blame or the credit.
Yeah, I think that's very true, and it is good on the sign of a good coach is if you have a bad competition or whatever, bad back-to-back blocks or something, I don't know. The coach should be taking accountability for that as well. But you
Yeah.
definitely, if you're an athlete and you're blaming other people for what's going on, it's like, do you even look in the mirror? Do you check all the boxes, dot T's, dot the I's and cross the T's? Like, a lot of people don't do that. Even
Yeah.
strong people. Like, talking to Kyler yesterday, and you know all about him too. But
Yeah.
he doesn't fucking. He's 205 pounds, benches over 500, fucking all this heavy lifting, and he still doesn't drink water, doesn't watch what he eats, or anything like that. And it's like, you know, he has this genetic freak box that he has always clicked, right? It's
Yeah.
always it's always on. He always has this switch turned on. But a lot of people don't have that. So
Yeah,
when they
exactly.
overlook those little things, it shows up in a big way.
Yeah, for sure. Like when my clients will text me and they'll be like, well, this didn't move well, or even tell me they failed or something. Like, I'm not looking to blame. Like, the first thing isn't like, oh crap, my programming sucks. I go, how was your food? How was your sleep? How was your water? If they can if they can genuinely tell me all three of those boxes are good, I'll be like, okay, well then we need to look at what we're doing in training, and then we can take a step back. But I'm not like, oh crap, I suck at programming.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna start thinking that just because you failed one lift.
No, yeah.
Like
you
also,
can't.
you've been doing great for the last 8 weeks, so what happened?
Yeah. There's always something, and it is normally a things are going well. Then there's a little dip, and then the next week is fine. So
Yeah.
you've gained all this weight as your total has gone up. How has your nutrition and honestly the little things, how have they changed along the way?
Yeah, so probably when I was in prep, I was like transitioning in between jobs from my last meet. I was transitioning from 24E to Castile Academy now. And my nutrition looks like night and day difference. I have to get up a little bit earlier, a decent bit earlier to get over to work for Castile Academy. And so me getting up and like cooking my breakfast like I would for 24E isn't really an option anymore, because I do value the extra 30 minutes I can get in the bed sleeping, because I'm about to go and do like, you know, coaching a class of 10 to 20 people. I got to be high energy. It's like I need sleep. I need to
Yeah.
have sleep if you want me to be jumping around and yelling for people. So my nutrition's definitely changed a lot, but I think the big thing that hasn't changed is like probably gotten better is my protein, because I went from at 24 maybe getting 4,000 to 6,000 steps max. Now like a light day for me is 12.
Yeah.
So definitely feeling it in my lower body more. Just walking around carrying, you know, from my previous competition, before this past one, I weighed in. I barely missed the mark at 242. I was like 242.4 or whatever it is, one like 0.1 over whatever the minimum is to get into 242. But went from that to 265 my next competition. I'm just carrying around a lot bigger frame. I weigh in like 257 right now, so I'm like easily walking around 257, 260. But Yeah, so increasing my protein has been like a major change. Like I'm making sure I'm at least getting 230, 240 grams of protein in a day. And I definitely feel the difference when I don't and when I do. Like my training feels like crap. Um, and so that's one of the major things. That, and then, you see me over here sipping when I'm not talking, making sure I
Right.
keep my water up, especially like there, like it is so easy to get dehydrated. We're in a warehouse. We
Yeah.
have the AC on, but I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still hot, especially right now. I'm not even, I demo the exercises. Like I do 2 reps at each exercise of 7 exercises, and I'm sweating like I just worked out.
Yeah.
So I got to make sure I'm hydrated. I got to make sure I'm fed. I knew that I'm not going to eat on camera here, so I knew that I needed to train after this. So I was scarfing down a pub sub, but before we got on here, just so I knew I had some substantial amount of food on my stomach, then I can get like something light before I head over to the gym.
Yeah. A pub sub, that's the way to go, I think. I think,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that 230, 240 range is probably pretty perfect for you right now. And
Yeah.
you're not a small guy. Like, you're also 6'2", 6'1", 6'2",
Yes, six
so,
one, 6'2", yeah.
yeah, so, like, being at 265 makes sense, 275 makes sense. That's why I said soon it'll be 308, because
Yeah,
push the limit.
Nate Barber, I remember at my last Maverick meet, which was the one before this past one. Yeah, he was like, I told him I was in the 265. He goes, you might as well just move up 308. I'm like, bro, I like to breathe at night.
No. That's over with. 10 pounds a year?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I was. And
308.
when I was in high school, I would gain 20 pounds each season. So I mean,
Yeah.
I ended up at like I think I was like 260, I was 270 when I stepped on my freshman year, and I got down to 225 in like 2.5 months because I felt like crap.
Yeah, I bet. It'll
So
be different now, though.
yeah, I'm definitely leaner for sure.
Yeah. See, I think we could call your last competition kind of your coming out,
Yeah,
right? I mean, kind of getting to a bigger stage, and I think you're going to take that with you now, because your next one is the Dirty South.
yes. So I'm gonna. Me and Kyler decided we're gonna do the Dirty South together because, I mean, he just can. I wasn't gonna do it. I was gonna actually kind of try to wait until next year to do nationals for WRPF. I'm really hoping that they do it locally, like Tennessee or Orange Beach or something like that. Because I'm not going out to California. I'm just not
Yep.
doing it. That's not. I don't even know if there is a payout for nationals. If there is, it's still not worth it.
There's not.
Yeah. So really, with this one, the Dirty South, top 10 payouts. So I mean, I'm looking at possibly getting a 500 dots here at this next one. Not a 2,000 total yet, but a 500 dots, and that would, I would think, put me. I mean, got to be top 5. I mean, this isn't like a big money meet. I mean, I think the top winner gets 750, so it's not like John Hack's going to be there or anything.
Right.
He's got bigger fish to fry, but it'll be good competition. It'll be definitely good competition for Kyler too. He actually won't just walk in and win a meet off his openers.
Yeah.
So that the aspect of me being able to actually win some money with this, like we talked about earlier, and then this meet would possibly qualify me to do like a Ghost Clash or like an actual pro meet, to actually make more sense than nationals really if they're not local, which I don't think they will be, just kind of based off of how I've talked to people, but weirder things have happened.
Yeah. And that meet is it listed yet on
The Dirty
Yeah, it
South,
is.
yeah, it's December 7th.
Yeah, let's
in
see who all's in
Smyrna.
that.
I don't know if anybody's signed up yet. I know I haven't. I think uh, Eugene Bazemore, I think,
Yeah, that
is
will
in
be
that one.
interesting. Eugene is a
Yes.
great guy, but you will. I mean, it's terrifying almost, but
Yeah.
he's so nice. So it
Yeah, I've
works
never got a
out.
chance to actually like talk to him face to face. He's like commented on some Instagram stuff of mine and all that. But yeah, he's definitely an intense person.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. He's always like, I don't know, he might be the most intense looking, like, handshaking, baby kissing guy that you'll ever meet. Like, that's kind of how he is. It's weird. Let's see. There's only 2 people signed up so far. Anyone that's watching can see this, but just had the lifting cast pulled up. A 110 and a 140 women's. Let's see. Wasn't there a... Is it roster? Yeah,
You
just
think
2 people.
so? Okay.
But
I'm sure more people will get signed up until then. I mean, I would imagine that this meet will get full. I mean, they're offering payouts to the top 10 people. I mean, that's crazy.
top 10 dots.
Yeah.
So that would be overall men or women.
Mm-hmm.
Cash prizes are only payable if the meet has at least 40 lifters.
Yeah, so we got to get people signed up for it.
Yeah, so first place 750, second place 600, third place 450. Yeah, that'll be fun.
And I think that me and Eugene will actually have a decent matchup because, he took a while off from competing. He had just hit, I think, a 507 or 508 dots at his last competition, and then he took a really long break, got into cardio, boxing, bodybuilding, stuff like that. So with him coming back, I think, and me on my come up, I think I can have a good chance of kind of maybe giving him a good, competition with that. I'm not really worried about Kyler right now. That's not really in my. I'm just, if he wins, then I'm worried about second place because that's really the first place. I mean, Kyler's looking at like a 565, 575 dots. So
yeah, he looks pretty insane right now.
yeah, if the only thing he has to do, and I tell him I'm like one of his best friends, so I tell him the truth, and he won't mind me. If he can hold on to a deadlift, then he'll be fine. But that's the thing that's going to hold him back his entire career is his deadlift. Because he can deadlift just as much as I can if he throws on straps.
Yeah.
If not a little bit more. He's got the strength. He just doesn't have that grip. Even when he did over-under, his hands are just like they're as thick as mine, but he's 5'5", so his hands are short. His hands are small. And so, he's got that Larry Wheels issue where when Larry gained all that weight, he couldn't hold on to a deadlift. His hands were just so thick, he couldn't. It's like basically had a built-in thick grip on the bar.
Yeah,
so
grip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. I think Kyler, he's firing on all cylinders right now, and I feel like he's figured out his grip issues, at least for the time being. So that'll be fun to see. I think both of you obviously are going to do really well. Eugene is in the 308 weight class, so
correct.
You won't be directly head to head, but since it's top 10, everybody's head to head.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I feel. I don't give a rip about my weight class at all. Because that's at the end of the day, that's not unless it's specifically said at the competition that it's going to give you money, it's usually just going to be top 3, top 2, top 5, top 10, whatever it is overall. So that's all I've really ever cared about since my first competition. I entered the junior, and after that, I was like, because if I did the numbers, if I would have entered the open that meet, I would have come in third. So I was like, why would I ever enter a competition in the junior? Well, there was nobody in my weight class and age group at that time because there's just not a lot of people who are my age at the time, being 19, 20, 21, there wasn't a lot of people that are my age and my size. So there really was never, I was first place out of first place, or out of one competitor. So it's like, what's the point in doing that? That's just a waste of a category.
There still isn't. I don't think there's that many 242 juniors out there. I only know of a couple, to be honest.
Yeah. It's not a very saturated weight class.
Yeah. I think it's not very saturated in general, and then you narrow it down to just Alabama, and then narrow it down to just junior.
Yeah, no.
There's definitely none. What are some of the mental hurdles that you have to go through to push through that kind of training? Because I know it's tough, especially in Alabama and the heat, and at that 275 or 265, whatever, at that weight class, pushing through the food sometimes is tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never had too much of an issue with the food, but as far as the training goes, it gets hard. Mentally, there's some times where I don't want to do it, but then I'll sit there and I think nobody is sitting here holding you at gunpoint, telling you that you have to do this set. You can walk out of the gym right now, and you can get in your car and you can drive, and you could never pick up a barbell again. Like, nobody's forcing you to. Now, my wife would probably kill me because I've spent like over $3,000 on gym equipment.
Yeah.
But nobody's forcing me to do powerlifting. So I'm like, I'm only doing this to myself. So if it sucks, it's because I chose to. And that's, I'm just like, dude, stop complaining. You could have it a lot worse. It sucks. Like, there's times where I'll go into the gym and I'm like, this is dead. Like, I don't want to do this. But, you know, now that I'm on my own with my own training, like, I can adjust. You know, it's a lot easier to adjust. Like, okay, I do have it set at like a 600 squat single or whatever today, but I ain't feeling that. We're going to call it at like 550 and head out of here. You know, like, just get some stimulus in. You know, I'm not wasting a day of training. I can be smart with it. But yeah, I would say like I don't have as that much of that mental hurdle. I'm not like, oh, this prep was like mentally draining or anything. It's like, for me, the lifting is fun. I love lifting. That's why I do it. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. Now, yeah, do I get to the end of the prep and I'm like, I don't want to lift heavy anymore? Yes. But I'm not sitting there like complaining about it. Like, I get to lift heavy weight. Like, nobody is making me do it. So that's kind of the mindset that I have about it. Nobody's making me do this, so like, there's no reason for me to complain about it. Unless I'm injured or anything like that, there's really no reason to complain.
Yeah, I like that. I think really it does only get tough towards the end of a prep. I completely agree with that. That's when I like 2 and 3 weeks out, I'm just like, do I really want to do this?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I want to go train, but I don't want to fucking do this competition anymore.
No.
Everything hurts.
Yeah.
I'm fucking tired. Yeah. But I'm the same way. Just I love being in the gym. I love training no matter what the reason is. Mm-hmm. So like, powerlifting just gives me a outlet, which I like, and I enjoy the community so much that it keeps bringing me back. But it's not like it's not a end of the world situation. Like, I could honestly take it or leave it sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
Like training.
Yeah, like I've gotten, you know, more into this, you know, functional high intensity stuff. When it comes to like, you know, not doing my compounds, that's really what my accessories are. Like, if you see the gym, we don't have like, there's no leg extensions, you know, there's no hamstring curls, there's no like seated chest press machines, you know, stuff like that. Like, I can set up cable flies, I can set up tricep extensions, I can do some of the bro lifts in terms of accessories, but I usually just like jumping in with a class and working out with them, because that high intensity stuff's really, I'm not really built for that. That's not really like my passion, but I know I really have benefited from it. I've gotten much leaner at the same body weight, and I just feel better. Like, my core is stronger. We do a lot of core work, which definitely something I need in powerlifting. I mean, you can never have too strong of a core. So, you know, blasting my core in a workout is really, I really like it, even if I don't want to do it. So I've been doing a lot of that stuff, and it gives me an outlet. Like, if I don't want to do a compound movement, like, I'm just going to do that workout, and it's still a really good workout. Like, I'm burning a lot of calories. I can go heavy on some of the movements if I want to, but I'm getting a really good workout in.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting side, is having like all the youth athletes around you all the time. Yeah,
definitely makes me miss sports a little bit more, being there. But you
real
know,
sports.
Yeah, real sports. Yeah, it definitely makes me miss football for sure. But I'll just live vicariously through, hopefully, a son that I have one day.
I don't know. I don't think I would. Football would not be the sport.
I'm not going to force my kids to do any sports if they want to do it. Like, my dad, like, do the same thing my dad did with me. I'm just going to be like, look, whatever you want to do, you're going to give 110% effort of it.
Yeah.
Like, and you're not going to quit until the season's over unless you get injured. The only time I ever quit a sport was basketball, because I fractured my ankle in the middle of the season. I went up to my coach the next day. I was like, Coach, I'm not built for this sport. I'm going to stick with football. And he was like, that's understandable.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I ever like quit in the middle of the season.
Good news for powerlifting, you probably won't be fracturing any ankles.
Yes, no ankles. I mean, there's definitely chances to break stuff, but
Yeah.
that's you can kind of like look at those videos where you see somebody snapping their forearm and you're like, bro, you do not need your hands that close to your upper back. Like you see them, they're like right in here on low bar, and
Oh
like
yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
stress,
yeah,
and then it just pops out. I'm like, dog,
yeah.
like spread your hands a little bit. I promise you, if you just do a couple more face pulls and some, rows and stuff, get that upper back a little bit bigger, maybe your
Yeah.
rear delts will pop without you having to be that close.
I don't really know that. They're most of the time freak injuries. I thought you were talking about like a bench press because I've seen some of those too. But
Yeah, those are more freak injuries. Yeah, for sure. That's like,
uh,
gosh, those are hard to watch.
have you seen the guy that rolls his ankle walking out a squat?
What?
It's fucking incredible. He walks out his squat and literally his ankle just turns and he fucking falls down and the weight like just falls straight down on top of him.
Oh
Like,
my
not fracturing ankles. Yeah, I've actually seen it just one time. Apparently he
So,
was fine, but yeah, he like literally he walks out and then his fucking ankle just rolls and he just goes straight down and gets crushed.
oh my gosh,
I wonder if I can find
that's ridiculous. I don't even know how that could happen to me. Like, I don't pick my feet up high enough off the ground when I walk out for my
Yeah,
ankle to roll.
it wasn't like that. It's just, like he just fucking.
Like a weird pressure thing, I guess.
I think he just has bad ankles.
I have terrible ankles. I have the worst. Like, that's another reason I love powerlifting. I don't have to move. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything that peculiar when it comes to like a workout injury, like
No, I
rolling your
definitely
ankle
haven't
on a
either.
squat.
And it was very funny because he just steps back and fucking ankle just twists. Like he didn't do anything crazy.
I think this one's not really an injury, but have you seen that video of the guy that like deadlift? He was doing a sumo in a competition, and he locked it out. The judge gave him a down command, and he like passed out at the top, but he never let go. So he just falls straight over, and then the
Yep.
bar hits the ground without him letting go. So like everybody in the comments was like, "So does it count? Did that count?" Like, but he like face planted straight into the judge.
Yeah, I did see that one. You know what's crazy? What I don't see anymore that used to be like, it used to seem like you'd see a video every week. People used to throw up a lot on deadlift, like in competition, throwing up.
Yeah,
on the
I used to
deadlift.
see that too. Yeah.
And now I don't remember the last time I saw one of those videos. Surprisingly, for better
Yeah, I
or
don't.
worse.
Definitely for better. That's like if somebody threw up on the platform, I'm gonna need and I'm competing. I'm gonna need like a full intermission. Y'all have to go get a whole new platform. That's disgusting,
A weak stomach over here.
dude. If somebody throws, if I'm like next, like I'm on
Yeah,
deck,
right.
and they like load my weight, and there's still like chunks. No, dude, absolutely not.
There was a girl. I think she might be retired now or something. She doesn't powerlift anymore, I don't think. But she was like, she went viral for hers because she
Oh my
like
gosh.
it started as soon as she started pulling, and it went all the way up and all over. Like the judge had to jump out of the way. She still got the lift, so it didn't matter. But
That's wild. I don't know what I would do if I actually threw up during a lift. I think I would probably drop that weight. I'm
I'd
like, yeah,
probably,
I'm throwing up right now. I got a little bit bigger things going on than me lifting this weight.
yeah, I would probably drop the weight and drop the competition, just leave.
Yeah, I probably would too.
Like, hey, I'd be out. Hey guys, sorry. See you later. That being said, do you have any weird things you've seen on the platform before? What's the weirdest thing in a
Trying to
competition
think.
you've seen? There might
I
not
think
be anything.
I wouldn't say weird, but it's definitely funnier. Is that the WRPF regionals that you were commentating on, and on the platform, old guy. He's older, probably like in his 40s, 50s, whatever, and he comes out to the platform in just his socks, like, and they're like he walks out the weight, like the judges didn't catch it, and then like I can't remember who the head judge was, if it was Christie or whoever it was, but they told him to walk it back in there, like, you got to wear shoes, man, and he was like so confused as to
Yep.
why he had to wear shoes. I'm like, did they not
I
tell
remember
you
that.
to check in your shoes at the competition? Like, but no, I mean, I think it's funny when people try to argue with the refs and stuff like that. I've seen plenty of people try to argue with them. It's like, hey, there's no committee. This isn't Sheffield. They're not going to overturn your lift because you're arguing with them.
Right.
They said you didn't hit depth. There's no review. Like, you're not getting that lift back, buddy. So that's probably the weirdest thing I've seen, though. Funny, weird-ish. Just some of the attire people like to wear on the platform is weird to me. Like, I'm not like one of those guys that's going to be like super like weird custom singlet. Like, I'm probably going to buy me a black A7 singlet for this competition. I'm not getting like, I don't know. But that's people how like they like to express themselves that way. That's fine. I just don't mind me if I chuckle at it.
Hey everyone, hope you're enjoying the podcast episode. I just wanted to come on here and thank WRPF Alabama for being our sponsor for this episode. I'm going to show you how to find the website, wrpfalabama.com. If you're watching, you can see it here in the browser. Upcoming meets. Next up is the Maverick Mayhem 3 tested and non-tested event. Registration's open. Go sign up October 12th. Saturday, October 12th in Millbrook. That's outside of Montgomery. Another good site to know about. If you're listening, that was wrpfalabama.com. Another good site to know is the Facebook page. So the Facebook group actually is private, but they update everything about Alabama powerlifting in that beyond just meet preps. Also welcoming new members, everything you can apply to join anytime. Heidi will get you in there. So thanks to WRPF Alabama for sponsoring this video. Come out to the meets, support the other lifters. We appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, similar to that, actually, when I was at IPL Worlds in 2023, I think, or 22, a guy came out. He was older. He came out in a USAPL singlet at the USPA IPL competition. That's Worlds. That's all live streamed. And they literally said, you got to change singlets. You can't wear that. They would not let him go on the platform with it.
That's hilarious.
And they were like, I don't care if we messed up in the checking in. You can't wear that. So you had to turn around and borrow a singlet from somebody. And he was older. And I remember a guy was, I think I was setting up or something, but he was there to weigh in. Oh, shit, that might have been North Americans. We both did that one. Either way, this older guy was weighing in, and he was talking about all the records he held. And he just goes to different styles of competitions for his age group and just sets all the like national world records for it. So he had like a curl world record, like a strict curl, an overhead press world record, more squat, bench, deadlift records in different federations. It was all kinds of stuff, and they were weighing him in. And he had nothing that he was supposed to have. He didn't know how any of it worked. And I was like, how do you have all these records, but you don't know what the fuck is going on here? He actually, the other thing he did, he tried to weigh in for like the 275s, and he was like 190. Because there were no records set for 275. And they were like, you can't do that. Just because you're lighter, you can't just sign up for it. It was so funny.
That is hilarious.
Like, they're looking at him when he walks in, like, 275? What the fuck? It's very, very funny.
Yeah. People are definitely interesting. You definitely see some interesting people in this sport. Because let's be honest, we're all a little weird, but there definitely are people that are really weird in this sport, for sure.
Yeah, it gives them an opportunity to be with like-minded weirdos.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, on top of that, these days, you have people that just have no shame.
Yes.
Like, they just don't feel shame for whatever reason.
Yeah, it couldn't be me.
Me either. So, when did you start coaching?
I'd say, when did I start working at 2040? I think towards the end of, like, December of 2021, so basically early 2022, I started, I wasn't like advertising for coaching or nothing. I was a personal trainer. I was a certified personal trainer, but my first client, Coleman, I don't know if you've met him before, Coleman Gorham. Him and Tyler Bunn. I'm sure you've seen Tyler before. He's done plenty of competitions. But they both started running like a pre-made program that I had already written. They had been like bro lifting like 5x5s like on everything their whole life. And
I see.
I gave them their first program with that. I was like, here, just take it, just try it, and I'll help you with form and stuff when you come into the gym. And he did like really good with it. Like he increased all of his lifts by like, I think he really didn't deadlift, but I think his deadlift went up like 120 pounds or something like that in like the 12 weeks that I basically taught him how to deadlift. Like he was like Olympic weightlifting the deadlift up. Like he was dropping his butt to the floor, kind of deal. But yeah, so I started out, I think most coaches should start out doing it for free or very cheap. But yeah, that's how I started doing it. Then they wanted to continue with me, so they are extremely, they pay me basically nothing, and I'm fine with that because they helped me get my coaching off the ground.
Right.
But yeah, I did my first, I'm trying to think. Then I ended up picking up Mason. You've met Mason before. And then I don't know if you know who Luke Holt is. Yeah. So I ended up picking up those four pretty close to each other, and they all did the Ultimate Warrior meet in 2022, and that was my first competition I ever coached. I coached all four of them, and they all, I think Mason went 8 for 9, everybody else went 9 for 9. Everybody hit all-time PRs and stuff like that. So that was like my moment where I was like, okay, I think I can coach. I think I can do this. Like, I wasn't like for sure, but I was like, I think I can do this. And then just continuing coaching over the years has just kind of helped me with my confidence of like, okay, I do know what I'm doing. And obviously having Les in my corner really helped me. Obviously, I would consider him one of the top 5 coaches in the Southeast at least. I don't know all the coaches, but I know that he has the resume, and I know that he has, the knowledge and the background to know what he's talking about. So I definitely consider him one of the best coaches that I know of. And it was really good having him in my corner, being able to ask him things and stuff like that, growing as a coach.
Yeah. What besides Les, are there any other coaches or groups that you look to kind of learn from?
I follow plenty of people on Instagram, like Shane Hunt and Derek, and I follow I like following like the heavy guys. Like I don't just for whatever reason, it's no knock to the guys that are like significantly smaller than me. I don't really care, to be honest. It's not, I don't hate them or nothing. It's just like, you're 114 pounds and you deadlifted 501. I really don't care. I really don't. I'm sorry, but I don't. I really enjoy watching these big guys lift really heavy weight. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I like to watch, like when I know somebody's in prep, like John Hack or Shane or Derek or any of those big guys that are like really up there, they have a chance of winning the competitions. I really like to study how they prep. And then I can kind of, see what they do and kind of tweak how I know that I peak off of that stuff. When it comes to my own training, I would say that I developed philosophies from Les and then kind of made it my own, how I feel my training responds best and how I feel like my athletes respond best. Like obviously I'm not cookie cutter, going to give everybody the same. Everybody at the beginning will be set up pretty similarly to how they train. But as you continue on with me, your training might look completely different. Like 3, 4, 5 months down the road, you've been training with me that long. I know you better as a lifter, and we've been through more blocks and more peaks and stuff like that. So I'd say Les was definitely the main influence, but I'm definitely not one to sit here and be like, oh, like that's everything I need to know. Like I enjoy watching, Dave Tate's podcast, Under the Bar. Then, just I watch, it's been a while since I watched him, but Jeff Nippard, he has good content. I still follow him on Instagram. I used to watch his YouTube all the time. But just, soaking up as much knowledge as I can, because I don't want to just be good at powerlifting coaching. Like what I really enjoyed about when I was with Les basically, he almost finished PT school. So he was really knowledgeable on what to do when it came to, if I had an injury, he had really good things for me to do in getting back from that injury and stuff like that, which helps me, obviously, with my clients, because most of the injuries that I had are pretty common in powerlifting, shoulder and back injuries, knee injuries, stuff like that. So, like, it seems basic to me now. Back then it didn't, but it's just a good tool to have in my back pocket to be able to help, rehab some of my clients if they are not just like, okay, well, let's just back down to volume. Like, no, we need to actually work on some different stuff and, like, address where this injury came from. So I can be a more layered coach, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think there's a lot of, and we still live in the information age. So, like, anything you have a question about, you can literally just ask your phone, like, and you can get an answer. So it's just good to be able to know where to find those resources as a coach.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you got this big competition in December. What are the goals for that? And then as you hopefully continue to progress, what's your, like, overarching goal for powerlifting?
Well, to answer the second question first, 2K is my biggest goal right now. That's in, like, the forefront of my mind. That's not going to be achievable at this upcoming meet. I'm not living in a fairy world. So 1835 was my last total. I do think that I can turn around what I competed in May. So I think I'm looking at about a 1917 to 1928-ish. I think that's pretty reasonable. Yes, it was like 100 pounds, but my lifts, like my deadlift, I still don't know my max. Like, I definitely did not hit my max at competition. It was 733. When I came over to AMP to lift with y'all, I should have lifted on kilos. I just have figured out that I'm better pulling on kilos for, like, whatever reason it is. I guess it's just because I do it all the time. But my max was definitely not 733 that day. I think 750-ish, maybe 760-ish for a grinder would have been that day. So, I mean, I don't see a reason as to why I couldn't hit 770 to 800. Like, 800 would be like, I'm on my game. Like, I'm feeling good. But I don't see a reason as to why I couldn't hit that at this upcoming competition. Bench, I know I just had a big jump. That's going to stall out. So maybe 413 to 424 at max. That would be great. But really, I mean, you can probably attest to this too. A bench PR in general is nice, or even just matching your previous best. Like, if I go in and I hit 402, like 402 is my best, but if I go in and I hit 407, like, that's a PR in bench. That's a win. So, but then squat. I mean, squat's really no telling. I do get a lot of intercostal muscle issues with my squat when I go really heavy for really long. So the prep that I've wrote out for myself has given myself a little bit more reload, deload weeks to give my back more of a break. So, but I think my squat is, like, not too far behind on my deadlift. I mean, obviously I got 700 and then 733 on deadlift. So, I think that a 733-ish to 750-ish squat shouldn't be out of question. But, I don't like sitting here and telling you what I'm going to do. I like to just go do it. I'm like, you're probably, besides Kyler, you're probably the only person that I've really talked to about my total goals. Like, actually, like, diving into what numbers. Like, obviously 1917 to 1928-ish is the goal. But I've never really told many people, like, what numbers I want. 2K is the goal. I know what I need to get there, but, like, putting actual numbers on it, I feel like I did that in the past, and it's always, like, let me down. So I just, like, that's another thing, like, with competing. I used to take it so seriously. Like, the Maverick meet before the previous meet, like, I got so freaking serious about squats that I ended up only going 1 for 3. Like I
Right.
got so in my head, and I got like I got a pressure headache in my head. Like I was like, dude, my brain felt like it was about to pop out of my skull when I was when I was going up for squat, and it just screwed me. So like the rest of the day, I was like, you know what? I'm treating this like I'm having a training session with my friends,
Yeah.
and I ended up doing a lot better. I didn't hit exactly what I wanted to on deadlift, but my mindset coming into deadlift was a lot better. I hit an all-time PR on bench that day. Again, couldn't ask for anything more than that on bench. That was a win in of itself. But and that's what I think really helped me in this past competition is like I was much more calm. Like I didn't feel like, okay, if I don't get this lift, it's the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like freak out and like throw a little temper tantrum or anything if I missed a lift. But I tried to have fun, relax, and just, again, that's what I tell most of my clients. I'm like, you need to treat it like you're having a training session. Like most of my clients will come train with me over at my gym. I'm like, dude, just treat it like we're training together. Like, you know, you're in there lifting with me and I'm just coaching you. Nobody else is around. Just don't worry about it. We're just having a training session. That's all it really is. That's really all a competition is a glorified training session.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even less than a training session, you're only doing fucking 9 reps.
yeah, exactly. So,
At most.
yeah.
Or I guess fucking 12 reps at most, but that'd be wild.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. I tell people not to number chase. Like when you start thinking about only the numbers and what you're going to hit and what you want to hit, it's never enough for one. Because even if you do, let's say something magical happens and you do hit all the numbers that you wanted to hit, you still will walk away and be like, I probably had another 2.5, 5 kilos in the tank. So it's like,
Exactly.
you'll never really be satisfied that way. So I always tell people just take it one lift at a time, especially in a competition. It's like, just get the squats out of the way. Just get the bench out of the way. And then you're home free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because once you do that, you just hit your opener deadlift, and you completed a meet. There's no way you can bomb out of the meet now.
Yeah, you can literally just stop there if you wanted to.
Like, I'll have people like, they'll be warming up. They're like, so, like, what do we think I'm going to hit on my third? I'm like, bro, you're about to go up for your first. Let's hit that.
Let's play about the first one.
I want you to be in the competition, and then we can have some fun.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the only one I tell them to, like, okay, let's hit this good. Let's lock in, and then we can start having fun and be loose after we hit the first attempt.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't need to go up there acting like, you know, nothing, you know, you don't have anything going on. You don't have to be serious or nothing on your first attempt. Like, you do need to be, you know, make sure it should be something you should hit, you know, with your eyes closed, hands tied behind your back kind of deal. So go up there, hit it perfectly, and then we can loosen up and have fun. That's what I usually tell them.
Yeah, you still got to respect the weight. I don't know who said that, but someone did.
Someone definitely did. I've heard that before. You said it now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just said it, but someone way smarter and stronger than me probably said it before.
Probably. Well, I did just make a post recently about, you know, I'm looking for four people to take on right now. I'm kind of starting to limit my spots that I take on just because with the job that I have, I do programming over there as well, and I'm now the only full-time employee, so I'm, besides, like, obviously my boss, but I'm the only one that is doing the main programming, so it does take a little bit of toll, and I have to account for that a little bit better. So I'm opening up 4 spots to anybody that wants to get strong, and I feel like what I offer, I'm not, you know, I think you can attest to this too, Brian, from what you've seen from my clients. Like, I'm not, you know, pulling some bull crap, like pseudo science training, you know, the basic stuff works. We're going to have fun. It's encouraging. I'm passionate about what I do. And I really, really enjoy helping people achieve their goals. So for those 4 people, if you're out there watching this, if you're looking to get strong, have some fun, and compete, then y'all can hit me up on my Instagram. It's at DSB Strength, or you can hit me up on my coaching page, which is at Spartan Systems.
Sweet. Yeah, I think you do a good job, and you create a kind of community that people like. So
yeah,
that goes a long way.
Absolutely, yeah. Of course, most of the people that I coach, and I think you're probably similar, are local, or they're at least in Alabama. So that's what I really like. That I really love that my guys can just like, if they wanted to, they could just get together and they can all have a training session together. I think that's really cool. But I also want everybody to know each other on the team. Like, I want everybody to eventually meet each other, so they're not strangers. And it just, like you said, feels like a community. They feel like they're wanted and valued, and they're important to the team. Because at the end of the day, if I'm coaching you, you are important to me. So
Good. I like it. And then the last question I have for you: if you could get a training session in with anyone, alive or dead, fitness or not, who would it
gosh. Oh man. Try to think. It goes off of every like the way that I train, it goes off of all of that, but I think just for the hype, I would have to go with like prime, like 2000s, like early 2000s Ronnie Coleman. Like back when he hit that like 800-pound squat, like during that kind of time, just to train with that level of intensity, like just one time. I don't know if I could definitely not keep that up for multiple sessions.
No.
And it probably sounds cliche to even say Ronnie Coleman, but like that is he trained like a maniac. And I just love to train like that one time and just like maybe not get out of my bed for 2 or 3 days. That's fine. But I would just want to know that, like, first off, I trained with like a goat,
Right.
but like that's how he trained, and I would like, I enjoy it, like not only with powerlifting and all that kind of other lifting that I do, like the physical aspect, but like I like the mental aspect of like when you get into a workout, especially the high intensity ones that I do. Like I said, I'm not built for that. Like that's not what I do. Like, a couple sets in and I'm like, my brain's telling me to stop. Like it's like, bro, like you're out of breath. Like you need to stop. But that's where I'm like, you need to man up and you need to finish this workout. Like there's this humongous hill right next to our gym. And we'll have our clients run it a lot. And I'll run it, but not like, I don't run it for cardio purposes. Obviously, that's a side effect of it, but I run it because like I get like a quarter of the way up, and I'm like, my body's telling me to stop, like do not do this. But like mentally, I'm like, no, I'm gonna finish this. I might collapse the top, but I'm gonna finish this. So with that, like I know that kind of training session with Ronnie Coleman would be like mentally probably the worst thing ever, more than physically probably. Mentally, I would probably want to quit sooner than my body would.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good answer. I don't think anyone we've had on has mentioned that, so
well, good. I feel like I thought that would be a common answer, but I guess not.
I don't know I can't remember if anyone has said Ronnie Coleman yet. We've got like Arnold and Ed Cohn, things like that, but not Ronnie.
Yeah, I don't know. Ed Cohn would be. I never really saw Ed Cohn's training. I saw his competitions, but obviously everybody's seen clips of Ronnie Coleman's training. Like, so how he did train, but to be there and actually do it would be a whole different animal.
It would be insane, but it would also be asked to unload all that weight so you can do as many reps as he did,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he did the 800 for 3, but like the leg press and shit, where he's got like fucking
like
3,000
2,000 pounds, 3,000, something like that.
Doing like 20 reps, and you're like, can we take this down by 2,000?
Yeah, for real.
So I can match. Yeah, that might be ass. That's funny. All right. I think that's all I have. You got anything else?
No, man. I just appreciate you having me on. I love talking with you. Obviously, I love you as a coach and everything you're doing in the sport. I hope you get to commentate more meets in the future because you are a born commentator.
That's the plan. We're working out with Heidi, trying to get some things lined up. We got some other things hopefully coming to the competitions, and maybe something new for the Maverick too. We're talking about doing like a from the crowd bench press, maybe even a deadlift in between squat and bench and deadlift.
Huh.
So like
that'd be pretty cool at this upcoming one.
Yeah. So like I was talking to Ronald about it a little bit. So like they're gonna probably give a 10 or 15 minute break maybe. They normally do between squat and bench. You get the bench set up real quick,
Yeah.
And then beforehand, you can have people sign up, pay $10, and you're doing a 225 or maybe 135 for women, 115, like combine bench press challenge. Half the pot, how many ever people sign up, might not be anybody that wants to do it, but still offer it. Half the pot goes to the lifters, so whoever wins best dots, and then half the pot goes to the person that does the most reps.
Well, I'll enter it.
You're right. It's something fun, easy to set up, and it keeps people involved.
Yeah.
We have these down periods.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're going into bench press. I mean, everybody's like, all right, well, it's time to go take a nap.
I'm going to go get lunch. I'll
Yeah,
be back
for real.
to deadlift.
Yeah, for real.
That's kind of the rough draft of what we came up with. And I think another way to make the elite level ones interesting, because those people actually need the 10 to 20 minute break whenever they give them between squat and bench. So you get it set up, and you have like Julius Maddox warm up during squat, and then he comes out and does his 3 bench attempts for a world record on an actual powerlifting stage by himself.
Yeah.
Right? You have like, that's how strongman does it, right? So they have like someone come out in between events and try to set a world record on something.
That definitely makes sense. I mean, that definitely would like get that downtime to be more interesting for sure.
Yeah, that's our like timeout and halftime in basketball games where they're fucking shooting shirts out of a cannon at people.
Yeah.
that's our version. Or we can start doing that too. We start throwing out WRPF shirts into the crowd.
Yeah. Just hit some old granny that's there to see their grandson.
That's what you should do. You got Spartan Strength Training System shirts. You should fucking bring some during somebody's third attempt when people aren't like hype. You start fucking throwing shirts out in the crowd.
Just throwing shirts.
That'd be awesome.
I'll get with my shirt lady and we'll get some cheap ones made. And we'll get them out.
That's like the perfect marketing plan.
Dude,
you know how fucking hype people would be. You're throwing out T-shirts. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's genius.
You're welcome for that. All right. Thanks for coming on. This was good.
Appreciate it.
I always have fun talking with you, and I think it'll be interesting for people to get an insight into more of the future of powerlifting, at least in Alabama.
Yeah, hopefully, for sure.
Hopefully you go on to something bigger than just Alabama. But
absolutely. I mean, obviously this meets over in Georgia, so I mean,
that's
not that much bigger, but it's paid, but yeah, I am trying to get, I love WRPF Alabama. Let me say that first, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get paid for this stuff. I mean, there's only so long I can do this by paying $200 every time I compete. So
you never know what could happen. We might have one.
Hey, I'll be down until you do.
We gotta figure that out. But
absolutely. Well, I will be the first one to sign up if they do.
We'll get something going. I'll talk to her.
Good deal. Good deal.
All right, brother. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks everybody for watching. Peace.
All right. See you, man.
Hey everybody. Just wanted to come on and thank you for watching or listening to the podcast wherever you get podcasts at. If you haven't already, go ahead and give us a like, a follow, and a rating on whatever service you use. We'd really appreciate that. And you can let us know in any of the text boxes or comments or on Instagram, wherever you can. Let us know who you might want to see on the podcast next. We're going to try and make that happen. We got a lot of good guests coming for the rest of this year in 2024. And if we can make your suggestions possible, we want to do that for you. All right. Thanks. Appreciate you guys.